certifying badasses one podcast at a time, teaching you to love Monday. Check your baggage at licensed-to-be-badass.com and hop on the bus to Badassville. Turn up your energy with Mustang Monday. Here once again in the driver's seat is Kelly Orchard.
She's like in prime time like mode. I love it. She's so cool. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Hey everybody, Kelly Orchard with Mustang Monday, the Badass Certifier, sitting here with Dominique. How do you say your last name?
Samario.
Samario from the city of Murrieta. Your role is Public Information Officer. Yeah, and
what
so
the heck does that mean, right?
well, I know what it means, but we'll tell them. But I want to share with you. It's like, so I've been doing these Mustang Monday videos with the city of Murrieta, officials, and Dominique is my partner in crime to make this all happen. So, and how long have you been with the city?
I just hit 9 months.
So 9 months.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind, but it's been fabulous. So.
Well, I got to tell you, our first meeting, the first time we met for coffee was like, oh, I love this girl. You have so much energy, and so you're so much fun. You're doing fun things with the city.
I'm trying, yeah.
So when I say Public Information Officer, what is your job?
You know what? I basically do everything: communication, outreach, engagement, branding. A lot of places will call it marketing, but we do a lot more. It's everything from the logos, the colors that you see, but making sure that all the information that we put out into the community is hopefully engaging, clear, and that you also know this is from the city of Murrieta. Because I think when you're a city employee, you can often go, oh, obviously this is the city, this is the county, this is a school district, this is the state. But people are like, I don't know what those differences are. I'm just trying to live my life, raise my family, and do a good job,
and hope that they pick up my trash.
And hope that they pick up my trash. And you know what? It's like, do you pick up my trash? Who does that, right? And so I'm just trying to help people connect the dots and get them to come out and enjoy being in Murrieta.
So where did you come before Murrieta? Where were you?
Okay. So I was in the neighboring city of Menifee.
Okay.
Yeah, and such a great community now.
Yes, great community, and probably a loss for them to lose you.
Yeah, but I live in Murrieta, and so what an honor.
Yeah,
so
to be able to do this for your own city.
Yeah, so when they asked me, I like had to. But you know what's cool? When you have things like that, like a shift from here to there, all the same people. And I really believe you make the cities, we have a closer relationship. You've got ties to people. And you know what? It's like, what do they say? Like, rising tides lifts all boats, right? We're all in this together. We're a region, right? So if one of us is doing good things, it helps us all.
I had a few people when I go around and tell people what I'm up to. What are you up to this weekend? Well, on Friday, I'm going to be going and recording a bunch of Mustang Mondays with the city of Murrieta, like official people.
And the real deal.
And they're like, how did you manage that? It's like networking, and being involved. But the thing is that what I wanted to share was that you, Dominique, were so intrigued by the concept. And I got to say, this is a first. And I would probably say for like cities across the country, how many city officials actually have gotten into a car and done a video interview in a Mustang for just some nobody. Seriously, but really. Yeah. And so you were, like right online with what's going on in the community. You kind of were already aware of my Mustang Monday video.
Yes.
And you were like, yeah, we're going to do that. And I'll make arrangements for all these officials to get in the car.
You know what? But that speaks to who you are. And you talked about networking. And I think sometimes people have a negative connotation, networking.
It's about establishing relationships.
It is.
Which is what you do.
And I love that, and that's kind of the whole thing with like the Menifee to Murrieta. It's like, that's just more relationships. And you know what? You have done so many good things with Rotary and with your work. And it's like, you knew somebody. They knew somebody. They introduced. And then it came to me being like, hey, we want to feature this city. And I thought, you know what? Here's the thing.
Fun.
I can do a ton of outreach.
Right.
I can do social media. I can put our stuff out everywhere. But it's never going to reach everyone. On my own, I'm never going to do it. I need partners. And it's like, how cool is this? Your audience is going to be different than my audience would have been. And now we're spreading the message more. And also, you're an opportunity to show that while we're government and
you're also people,
bureaucracy, we're people. And most of us, not all, but most of us are pretty cool.
Well, I got to so I just had David Chantaransku. How do you say his name?
I mean, that was really close. Sean Tarongsu.
Okay, all right, Sean Tarongsu.
That's perfect, yeah.
I just had him, and he so energetic, so fun, really great personality. But he's the bureaucracy guy that when you want to have, you know, a code issue, or you want to build an addition onto your house, or you want to build a building, he's the guy. And normally you look at them as like you're fighting City Hall, and it's like I don't see how this guy would need to be fought with at all. He's so pleasant and easy to, you know, I bet he's easy to work with too.
He is.
And so I think that's one of the reasons why I want to do it. First of all, when I wanted to set up to do Mustang Mondays, it started out with the police chief. And he came to speak to my Rotary Club. And so I approached him. And of course, you know, anytime I approach anybody and I say, hey, you want to get in my car and do a video? They kind of look at me weird. Like, what are you talking about? But he was, once I explained to him that it's really harmless, I promise, he was open. He seemed open to it. But of course, he's the chief of police. So I had to follow through. I had to chase this down. And once I got a hold of you, it just happened. You know,
that's my goal, is to connect people.
Mm-hmm.
That's my favorite thing, is like making connections and seeing the connections like lead to successes.
So how did you find your way to this field? So we know that you've been with City of Murrieta and they recruited you from Menifee. But how did you find your way to this field?
Yeah, you know what? So it's been kind of a crazy path. Okay, what is the short version? Let's see. So I went to school for communications and did communications, and I thought I want to work in news because I wanted to make a difference in the world, and I
you
love
have
talking
a face
to
for
people,
it?
and
Yes.
well, I just like I love communicating and I love people, and I want to make a difference. So I'm going to work in news. So that's what I thought I was going to do, and I went to school and got a job, and I worked in New York and LA, and it was great. But I kind of always felt like there's something a little bit more than like how much of a difference. I don't know, just kind of the for-profit side of things. I saw it, you know, for what it was. And then I just wanted my life to be a little bit more stable. And to be honest, I had a brother who was in Santa Barbara, and he goes, oh, you should move out here. I think you'd really like it. So I Google, kid you not, like television station Santa Barbara, and City TV pops up, and I'm like, okay, whatever. And I just sent this email out to, it's like, station director, here's your email, right? And I send it. I tell him, oh, I'm moving to Santa Barbara, and like, I'm really interested in working for you. I don't really know that I was moving to Santa Barbara, and it doesn't matter. I ended up getting a job, but it turns out the television channel was for the city,
was
like
owned by the city.
Hall. You know what I mean? I didn't know. I like show for the interview. I'm like, oh, this is different, you know. And so, but what that did is it exposed me to
what's going on with the city.
Everything that cities do, and that, you know, I just said, okay. It was so fascinating, and that's when I felt like, yeah, I'm making a difference. But then to kind of figure out, okay, so where's your path lead? And then it turns out there are these people called public information officers. I learned more. I went back to school. Once I decided this is for me, I got my Master's of Public Administration, a lot of other certificates along the way, and now I work for the city manager. And, you know, looking back, you go, that was the most perfect, you know, path. That all made so much sense.
Yeah, like you made that happen deliberately.
Yeah,
and
like,
you're like, no,
when
it's
you
sort of
were
an
in
accident.
school, and I was like, oh my gosh, I felt like such a mess as I was going through it. Like, what's my future? And you know, like, hindsight is 20/20, and it worked out. So I'm grateful for the way all the pieces sort of fell. So
yeah, now you don't have very much of a commute because you live in Murrieta.
yeah, no, I think I live less than 4 miles from the office. I bike to work sometimes.
Yeah,
like,
that's
it makes
nice.
my whole day.
All right, so what do you like to do for fun, Dominique? You're married and have a family.
Yeah, so I'm married. I have 2 kids, 3 and 7. They are busy. But what do we do for fun? I mentioned biking. I love cycling. I love running. We love hiking. There's a ton of great hiking around here. Like, so much good hiking. So that makes my heart happy. We love traveling. This is such a great, you know, kind of jumping off point. I love being able to like head to San Diego and go to museums and all that for the day, but we've got like, you know, Disneyland's an hour away, LA, we love doing things there too. So this is such a good central spot. But yeah, I just love being active, and, you know, then work keeps me very, 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 very busy. And then the kids are, you know, they're also busy. So it's a good time.
Do you find it difficult, like, because you live, work, and play in the same city?
I do.
And you have a public
Yeah.
Like her, literally, that's the first word in her in her title, public.
This is true.
You're a public job. Do you find it that sometimes you feel like you're almost always on when you're out doing stuff, like in the public? You almost have to be in a way.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's in my nature. Like, I am a rule follower
Mm-hmm.
to the max. It's just like who I've been since I was born. You know, it's like in my who my DNA, right? So that's good. Because you wouldn't want to not be that. And then, I mean, you could run in people at the grocery store, right? And then there's sort of like, so when you work in local government, you often find there's sort of these like two camps. One is, I want to live and I want to work in the same place because then I have more pride. It's more convenient if things happen. You know, we're also emergency responders. And so it's very important that you're available if something happens 24/7, right? And so there's that camp. And then there's definitely the other camp, which is, I don't want to run into anybody I know. I don't want to be on a run and be looking at the sidewalk and think, okay, that's a crack right there. I need to talk to Public Works, you know?
Yeah.
So there's two ways about it.
And both are valid.
Both are totally valid.
valid.
So, but yeah, like, you don't want your kids like going crazy in public. You're like, get in line, shake, quiet down, you know? We're just having a little rough day. It's okay.
Yeah.
You know, but
well, you know, but
it's what it is.
The couple things you brought up, you know, so my background's radio. And so, you know, when my family had our radio station up in Victorville, we lived, worked, and played. And so I couldn't even go to the grocery store without somebody recognizing my voice.
Your voice, yes.
You know, and stopping back and going, hey, aren't you? And so I know that whole thing about loving your community and being involved in it and knowing it inside out and backwards. Now that I don't have that same life, I kind of like knowing nobody really knows who I am now when I go somewhere.
Yeah.
And that's kind of nice too, that whole, I don't have to worry that I did a remote at that, you know, that clothing store or whatever broadcast.
Right. But you're super involved, and
yeah.
do you like knowing that you're involved with the city?
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like that vibe.
Well, we wouldn't be here now if I hadn't been somehow connected with the city, and a lot of this came down because of Scott Agajanian from, you know, economic development.
Yeah.
And he had done one before, and he's been so involved in this community and knew of it. And so when I approached the police chief and then included Scott in the email, it's just like, we're going to do this. The whole city is going to do this. And like I said, this is a first. Not only if it's for me, but I think for all cities. I think that you guys could actually say, it's like, yeah, we got involved and we did this whole community project with, you know, somebody in a red Mustang.
I mean, I'm into first,
Yeah.
so we're gonna market that. Right
Yeah,
there.
this is definitely a first. You know, so now it's
Yeah.
like, okay, next time I'll have a city pay me to do it.
Yeah, there you go. Work on that one. That's what you really need.
But this has been totally fun to meet you and get everybody in the car, and I want to thank you for helping me arrange this crazy thing that we've done.
It's an honor.
It's been fun just sitting in the car parked in front of City Hall, completely crooked and sideways. And did you know? Okay, so maybe I can tell you something. Did you know that your fire chief is also very much into cycling?
No joke. Yes, I did.
Okay.
Actually, no. Like the first time we met, he mentioned something. Okay, here's a little funny fact. I like bike, so I would call it biking, and people thought I was like out on a motorcycle.
Motorcycle, yeah.
And
I'm a biker.
No, I'm like, yeah, I love biking. And they're like, oh, that's hardcore. Which is like, I mean, just FYI, I'm not that hardcore, right? And I'm like, yeah, no, pedaling.
Yeah.
Like I pedal.
Cycling, yeah.
And so when I was talking to him and something came up about a bike, and I'm like, do you mean like a cycle? And then we totally bonded over
Yeah.
it, you know. But
Yeah.
but I had to make sure to clarify,
Right?
Because I didn't want him to think that like I was like out with like my like cuts on, you know. What I mean? I'm like, I'm not that tough actually, but yeah.
Well, you are badass. So
Okay.
You are badass.
See, that means a lot because I probably like Dominique and badass. Like I don't normally put those together, but like I've earned it now, and I appreciate it.
And you know, and we're changing the way that people consider badass. I mean, badass is something good and cool,
Yeah,
and,
like
you know, and
yeah.
steady, and you know, it's badass. It doesn't mean that you're hardcore curmudgeon.
No, but
you
like
know?
bold,
and
know,
brave and
yes.
confident,
and I like
and a positive attitude.
Those things,
yeah,
you
and no
know?
matter what happens, no matter what life's thrown at you, you can stand the storm.
And that is something
All of us
that we are, and that's an honor. You know? That's something that I am proud of.
Yeah. Well, all right. So, badass tip for the audience, whether it's professional or personal. What is like your go-to, you know, something that you build someone's confidence? What do you say to people?
You know what? Well, and I don't know. I do share this sometimes. You do like talks or like high school like leadership classes or something. But and I don't know if it's the answer for everybody. But all I know is that every ounce of my success, my anything, is that I'm a yes person. Speaks to this. Somebody sent an email and I'm like, heck yeah, we can make that happen. And so I just feel like, whether it's something small, whether it's a job opportunity, it's like, look at that and I can do that. I can speak at that event. That event is going to lead to other things because you're going to meet someone there. I cannot tell you how many times, like, hey, City TV, oops, wrong organization, and look what it led to. You know what I mean? Yeah. That has happened to me countless times in my life, and it has led me to where I am. And I just encourage everyone, just look at things with open eyes and try to say yes when you can. And I really believe that that's going to lead to better things than kind of the default being maybe not, maybe that won't work. What if it did? What if it did? And you'll never know that if you say no.
Yes, that's a that's a great tip. I love that. Say yes. Absolutely. Say yes. All right, everybody. Kelly Orchard, the Badass Certifier, and Mustang Monday with Dominique Samario from City of Murrieta, Public Information, reminding you, and just say it with me, to be bold, be brave, be confident, be badass.
Mustang Monday. Fast cars, fun chats, and badass business and personal tips from the streets. Driving home a positive message with interviews conducted in Kelly's 2006 Mustang. Grab your Badass Habits ebook. Get started on your badass journey. Go to licensedtobebadass.com.